In the year 2024, there is absolutely no reason to pre-order. Back in the day when they were still making good video games, you actually had to go into a store and reserve a copy if you wanted to make sure you were playing on the day of release. But keep in mind, everything was different back then. Digital downloads weren't as prevalent. The way we consumed game reviews was different. We go to websites or get them from magazines. It wasn't as instant as it is today where everyone and their sister is doing reviews. If I would have grown up with live streaming, I would have saved a lot of money. Digital pre-orders makes even less sense. There's no scarcity. They're not going to run out. There's even less reason to pre-order digitally. And while I've been stupid enough to pre-order digitally in the past, it was usually because they had some sort of amazing pre-order incentive. But let's be honest, guys, those are far and few between nowadays. It's all risk, no reward. You risk lighting $70+ on fire to get some shitty skin that you'll wear once and never put on again. Or some weapon that becomes underpowered the moment you press start. Years ago, these companies would appreciate if you took a risk on them and put your money up front. They might even give you something physical like a keychain or a poster. Now you get some bullshit that they plucked out of the game and pretend it's something special or exclusive. And that's the only way these companies can actually get over on us nowadays, is through pre-order. I mean, look at what's going on with Dragon Age. They curate an all-star cast of shills. They'll mix in one or two unpredictable reviewers to try to make it look fair. But when you're able to handpick who's going to review your game, you have more control over what people are going to hear. And of course, more control over review scores, which will give you confidence to pre-order their game. But doing business like this is a double-edged sword. Once people realize you're being very selective on who you pick to review your game, they're just going to assume anyone saying anything nice about the game is shilling. And I get it, guys. I'm a gaming junkie degenerate myself, so I want to play these motherfuckers the second they come out too. But I'm fucking sick and tired of these companies having absolutely no respect for me and my money. Guys, it's just a couple more days. Wait and see what your friends are saying. Wait until people start streaming the game so you can come to your own conclusion before making another fucking donation to these companies. Not to mention, a lot of these companies just don't have the capacity to make a good video game anymore. They lost the plot. Unfortunately, we're living in a very divisive time. And it's just as unfortunate that we can't look towards games to give us an escape from this craziness. And instead of these developers understanding that and rising above it all, they end up becoming a tool for the very thing we're trying to escape from, by becoming more of a political activist than a good old-fashioned game designer. And I'm sick of it, to the point where I'm not buying many video games. In fact, I've started playing a lot of shitty free-to-play games, which by the way seem to have a lot less of this nonsense. And that is because they're trying to earn your money every single time you log on, in contrast to trying to con one lump sum out of you. And I can only hope that some of you are starting to open your eyes and see them for what they are, accusing people of being homophobic or racist to try and invalidate their honest critique. Mass Effect and Dragon Age are two of my favorite games, which would fall under being woke video games. But there was a big difference on how things were handled. It felt more like they crafted this world, and all the stories, characters, and everything else resided in that space. Whereas today it feels like they're making the woke the centerpiece and building a universe around it. It doesn't feel natural, it doesn't feel cohesive, and it often breaks the immersion. For me, and this abomination called Dragon Age the Vilgar, it just seems like the woke ideology seeped into every single aspect of the game. Atrocious writing. The most unoffensive, tame, generic writing I have ever seen in a BioWare game. If you were to tell me AI wrote the story, I would believe it. The art style, in my opinion, also affected by this bullshit. It's very soft. Masculinity turned all the way down to zero. It's a shame, really. But this is what happens when you put people in charge who are going to care more about telling their story than the story of Dragon Age.